My name is Elena Perez with UFCW Local 21, the largest private sector union in the state of Washington, with 38,000 members working in grocery, retail, healthcare, and other industry jobs. Almost 20,000 of our members work in grocery stores and thousands more that work in non-food retail. We care about maintaining good benefit and wage standards for those members. We also share their concerns about the pressure put on their communities by employers that only offer low-wage, part-time employment without access to affordable health benefits and retirement security. As the world's largest retailer, with over 2 million employees worldwide and over $400 billion in annual revenue, Walmart, more than any other single employer, has set the standard for how workers are treated throughout the supply chain and retail industry. Some of the lowest paid workers in the supply chain are garment workers in Bangladesh. Walmart is one of the largest purchasers of these goods, importing 15% of the total garment exports from Bangladesh last year. Today I will introduce speakers who will tell the story of where that clothing comes from, how it gets to our ports, to our stores, and ultimately to American consumers. Kalpona Akter is from Bangladesh, and she started working in garment factories at 12 years old, working 14 hours a day for $6 a month. She was fired and blacklisted for organizing at the sweatshop factory where she worked. She joined with other former garment workers to launch the Bangladesh Center for Worker Solidarity. Internationally known and respected, the center is a grassroots organization dedicated to protecting the human and labor rights of workers and children in Bangladesh. Kalpona, why don't you come and talk about your experience?
Hi, my name is Kalpona Akter and I'm from Bangladesh, and I work for the Center Kalpona Center for Worker Solidarity. And I started to work when I was 12 years old. So my working condition was like it's long shift hour, 14 hours a day, and sometimes I had to work over midnight. Like I am experienced to working 23 days in a row, and it was just $6 per month for 208-hour work. And rest of the work we used to do, which is overtime, we used to not pay as well. So it was very often we were being abused by the supervisors or the mid-level management. Like they used to yell on us when we do the minor mistakes, and also there was a tremendous production pressure. So if we could not meet them, so we would not pay more than 8 hours. So, and also we were barely could use the toilets. If we wanted to use the toilets, we need to like use a toilet cart, which is like one cart for 60 people. So that was the condition. And later I believe that we had been cheating because we hadn't any idea about the labor law. So when I came to learn the labor law and I started to organize my co-workers to form the union, but what happened? When I tried to organize myself and my co-workers, I have been fired and blacklisted by the owners and owners associations. So I didn't get a job anywhere and joined with the union. And after that, I was working with union and organizing the garment workers back home. But still, the workers in Bangladesh are getting poor wage, which is minimum wage now it is $43 per month for 208-hour work, but still it is less than $6 what I used to get in like 18 years back. Because why I'm saying this? Because of the inflation rate. And now I wanted to talk about the Walmart factory that we have in Bangladesh. There are like 250 factories who makes clothes for the Walmart, but they are in the working condition, of course, the poor in those factories. The workers also need to work long hour shifts. The minimum wage they are getting is poor. The auditing system of the Walmart, it is very difficult. Like the factory management knows when the auditors coming, so they can coach the workers on what to say. And the labor law is not implemented on those factories. So this is the situation. And when workers try to raise their voices to form union in their factories, they're being still threatened, beaten, and falsely filed criminal charges brought against them, and they are also put in jail. So the Walmart situation in whole supply chain, it looks very difficult to me. And like last year, when the workers raising voice in my country, in our garment sector, to raising the minimum wage, and we were supporting to them, the minimum wage was 13 cents per hour, while workers were asking to increase it like 37 cents, but it has been increased like up to 20 cents per hour, and it's not enough for one worker's living cost. And to being supporting these minimum wage and also giving the education, one of the factory workers called NASA, the factory belong with NASA group, to educating these workers about the labor law. We have been falsely filed criminal, we have been facing falsely filed criminal charges, and I have been put in jail with my colleague, and I was in jail 30 days. I have been interrogated like 18 hours in a row, so it is mentally tortured, and my colleague has been beaten in the police custody. So later we have been basically released on bail, but still we are facing all those charges. And these charges, if it starts for trial, it will, 3 of them will take like 6 months to give the judgment, and there is a possibility for lifetime imprisonment on those cases.
Thanks, Kalpona. Now we're going to hear from Kenny James, a former Walmart employee, who will describe his experience as a worker and consumer.
Hi, my name is Kenny James. 9 years of my life invested into Walmart, and as a Walmart stocker, knowing that the largest retailer in the world, and it's very disappointing to know that there are people all over the world that are being treated in this manner. And in stocking and putting the merchandise on the shelf as it comes from the distribution center, we do the best job that we can because we take pride in our work. And knowing that we're putting merchandise on the shelf and putting merchandise on the racks with clothing that people have been mistreated, it's very disappointing to know that, and that I do not support. And I do believe that being the largest retailer and other purchasers, large people in the retail industry, should take in fact that these people are working very hard. And as a consumer, it's very difficult to wear merchandise that comes from these places when you know that some of these people have been treated in this manner.
Thank you, Kenny. And now we have Kristen Bifus, who is director of the Washington Fair Trade Coalition, which works on behalf of people and the planet for a fair global trading system. Kristen will speak about the power of large purchasers, such as governments and corporations, for promoting workers' rights throughout the apparel supply chain. And she will highlight the recently adopted sweat-free purchasing policy of the City of Seattle, which works to ensure that uniforms worn by city employees are made in safe and fair working conditions.
So the Washington Fair Trade Coalition is a group of 52 social justice, labor, environmental, faith, and family farm groups that are working towards making sure our trade policies are just. This year, 2011, marks the 100-year anniversary of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire that happened in New York City. And this was a situation where workers were locked in their sewing factory, and when a fire broke out, they were unable to leave, and many jumped to their death. There were 146 workers that lost their lives. And in that situation, workers had been organizing, but it was an opportunity for human rights groups, government, labor, and workers to come together and really make some of the most important labor laws that we had in the U.S. at the time. Over the past 100 years, manufacturing in the U.S. has been offshored. Many corporations are making things overseas. And as we just heard from Kalpona, there are fires still burning in those factories. In Bangladesh, just in the last year, there was a situation where workers were again locked in their factory, fire broke out, and workers lost their lives. And so we're here today to call for the fires to be put out wherever apparel is being made. And big purchasers such as Walmart and cities and states have enormous power in making sure that workers' rights can be protected throughout the entire supply chain. So a year ago in June, actually literally just a year ago, the city of Seattle joined cities and states across the U.S. adopting a sweat-free purchasing policy, which works to ensure that uniforms purchased by the city of Seattle, so fire uniforms, police uniforms, are supporting worker rights wherever they are made. And this was championed by the Seattle City Council, Nick Licata, Tom Rasmussen, and the purchasing department of the city of Seattle has been at the vanguard of not only creating, but in the future implementing this policy. And it's a great example of how civil society and government and corporations can come together to really ensure that the entire apparel supply chain has workers' rights at the fore and that workers are benefiting no matter where they are in the world.
So, bottom line, as the city of Seattle has shown, large purchasers can do good things, and Walmart, as one of the largest buyers of clothing in Bangladesh, can do better and must do better. And Kalpona was just last week at the shareholders meeting for Walmart to put forward a proposal to ask Walmart to do better, and she will very briefly talk about that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, last week I had a chance to proxy the New York City Comptroller of the John Lee office and New York Action Fund to proxy them in the Walmart shareholder meeting when I brought a proposal on behalf of them, the proposal number 8, which says that there should not be a report only from the Walmart, there should be a sustainable report from the Walmart supplier as well. So I had a chance to speak there and brought up that proposal, which we believe that the Walmart is the one of the biggest buyer for Bangladesh garments. Like they import like 15% of our total production. So as a big buyer, if they could lead to do the better, they can really make the change. They can really pay a living wage for our workers. They can really make ensure that our workers are not killed in the workplace and they are having safe workplace. And the 11 cases that has been brought up against us, the 4 of them has been filed by the Walmart suppliers. And as Walmart is a big buyer, if they say to the Bangladeshi government and the suppliers, and their voice will be heard, and the charges, obviously those will be dropped. So that was my topic points in the shareholder meeting, and I have handed over like 100,000 people's signature who has signed the petition to drop the charges against me. So I have handed over to Mr. Duke, and I requested him to tell to their supplier and Bangladeshi government to drop the charges against us. And if they lead, I believe that they can make change in our country. Thank you.
So, as the largest corporation in the world, Walmart's business choices impact all of us, whether we are garment workers, truck drivers, retail store workers, or residents and shoppers in communities where Walmart operates. That is why the Make a Change at Walmart campaign exists. And our vision for all workers is one of respect and dignity at jobs that pay fairly and guarantee workers a voice. The Making Change at Walmart Coalition includes organizations locally, nationally, and internationally that support this vision. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Questions?
Absolutely, anybody. Number one, first and foremost, you said this is about Walmart. We don't have a Walmart in West Seattle, and the closest one is at quite a considerable distance. Why are you here?
We're here because Walmart wants to be here.
We have no plans for Walmart in West Seattle.
Well, just in an article in April, Walmart declared that they will be building Walmart stores in Seattle. Not that they'd like to, that they plan to, that they'd like to talk to us about it. They said they will. And Walmart's mode of operation is essentially to do backroom deals with city councils and planning departments, do it all behind the scenes, and then by the time the community is aware that a Walmart is being planned for their community, they're given a feeling that it's too late, that it's already a done deal, that just, sign on the bottom line, this is it. And, we always want to highlight that communities can speak their minds and can say that we expect standards of our communities to be met. And this isn't about destroying Walmart or preventing them from operating, as long as they operate with standards that are acceptable to our communities. And so everyone needs to have a voice in this. But Walmart has said very clearly that they do plan on building stores in Seattle. They do have a Sam's Club on Aurora Avenue.
So what should people in West Seattle do?
Stay in touch with their city council, stay in touch with the planning departments, make it clear that there are standards in West Seattle that they expect to be met by any retailer that's moving in, that they expect that sourcing throughout the supply chain be done fairly, that workers be treated fairly throughout the supply chain, and if a retailer wants to move into West Seattle, that those standards first be met before the city consider anyone moving in.